I actually was not expecting you guys to love these reaction videos so much, but here we are again. Another top 100 list. Jeb Dunnuck is a critic that has his own website, and I feel like he's a critic that I kind of relate to a little bit more because he got his start off in wine in a different career. He was working as an aerospace engineer, I think, or in computer science, and just kind of recently, the wine bug bit him. He went all in. He was writing his own publication. I think in the early 2010s, I was reading it for a little while, called the Rhone Report. Then in 2013, Robert Parker approached him and asked him to review wines. So from 2013 to 2017, he was actually one of the main reviewers at the Wine Advocate. After that, he branched off and started his own publication. And funny story, last year around this time, it was looking like I was going to be able to meet him and interview him on this channel. I was in Chateauneuf de Pop shooting a travel vlog, and the president of the Chateauneuf de Pop Winemakers Association is my friend. Tried to connect us, but I missed Jeb by a day. So, you know, it is what it is. Maybe next time, Jeb. Jeb mainly focuses on Washington State, California, the Rhone, and southern France. I liked one of the comments by one of you in the James Suckling reaction video says, I love hedge fund bro style reds. So I read Wine Advocate and Jeb Dunnuck, and I definitely laughed at that. That being said, Jeb does like some bigger, richer style wines. I've seen him in interviews before saying, you know, global warming he thinks has improved the quality of wines overall.
What are you seeing, for example, with global warming right now?
Better wines.
Better wines, right?
I do think his scores are a little bit on the high side, but you know what? Whatever. That's just me.
Yeah. From a critic, it kind of sucks because everything is good, and you're like, damn it, you know.
I have not seen this list. I have no idea what wines are going to be on this list. I do have a feeling, though, that I'm probably not going to be as familiar with some of these wines because he's way more connected in California and Washington State than I am. I know that he shares a love for Santa Barbara County, which I share a love for as well. I really like what he said here. As with all top 100 lists, this is an entirely subjective endeavor, and every wine on the list could be replaced with a different line. Okay, let's start out. Number 96, the 2019 Andrew Will Champoux Vineyard. This is a Bordeaux blend from Washington State. I kind of mentioned it in the Wine Spectator Top 10 reaction video. 81 bucks, I think when I bought it, this was years ago, was 50 bucks. Was the first high quality Washington State wine that I ever had. I was really impressed with it. This is one of the classic producers, the big names at Washington State. I generally find Washington State Bordeaux blends, at cabs especially, to have, you know, they have like a little bit more earthiness than maybe California. Sometimes they don't have as much power, much oomph, which, you know, might be beneficial to some of you. Champoux Vineyard is a phenomenal area. I think it's something that you should check out. Okay, number 94, the non-vintage Laurent Perrier Champagne de Grand Cuvée number 25. Laurent Perrier, I feel like it's kind of a house that's a little bit understated. I've talked about it in some previous videos. I still like the prestige cuvées from the Grand Marques, the big house champagne houses. Champagne is all about blending, and they have so many vintages to draw from to make a great wine. Number 93, the Melville Pinot Noir Anna's Block. Chad Melville went back to his family estate. He started the winery Samsara, which you will see, one of my favorite producers in Santa Barbara County. But he left that project, went back to Melville. I haven't tasted the recent vintages, but I recommend everything from them. I think their estate Pinot Noir you get for 30 bucks maybe. I know their estate Chardonnay is just gorgeous. You can get that for around 30 bucks. Their single vineyard stuff is better, obviously, but if you want to go for their basics, I think it's very worth it. Number 90, the Piper-Heidsieck Champagne Essentiel Extra Brut. Big house, well-distributed brand. Should be easy to get. Check it out. Okay. 87, the Delas Champagne Blanc de Blanc's Brut. Exceptional wine. Delamont's owned by Salon, which is, I mean, this year's ownership was Salon, which is one of the most prestigious, one of the most expensive champagnes in the world. 85 bucks. A lot of insiders, a lot of wine geeks really love this champagne. I think it's worth checking out. Number 83, the Tarlant Champagne Blanc de Blancs, La Vigne en Temps Brut Nature. Very good wine. Tarlant, excellent producer. In Brut Nature, that means that when they disgorge the champagne, you know, when they're ready to bottle, they don't add any sugar. And I think a lot of times Brut Nature can be a little bit too dry, a little bit too sharp for a lot of people, but this is really well done. Let's go here. Number 84, I'm just gonna put it here because I've not had this wine yet for some reason. The Roger Sabon Chateauneuf de Pape Prestige. I go to Chateauneuf every year. I know Chateauneuf pretty well. For some reason, I just haven't had the Roger Sabon Vineyard. So, number 81, Hirsch Vineyards Pinot Noir Block 8. This is from Sonoma County. So funny because this is a winery that's quite famous. I've never really been super impressed with. That's just me personally. You know, you like it, you get, you know, it's fine. I put it down there. Number 2019, the Arrow and Branch Cabernet Sauvignon Beckstoffer Dr. Crane Vineyard, $175. Wow. For a Beckstoffer Dr. Crane Vineyard, this is an iconic vineyard. I think it's in Oakville in Napa. I've been to the facilities where Arrow and Branch was made. Well, this was years ago. Maybe Arrow and Branch, I think they might have moved to their own facility. Really good wines. Beckstoffer Dr. Crane wines, they usually go for a lot more than $175. I know it's expensive, but maybe it's worth checking out. Number 76, the 2019 Chateau Ferrand Segur, iconic producer from Saint Estèphe. I think a Saint Estèphe wines kind of have like this kind of animaliness to them. I just had this wine at On Premier. I thought it was very good. And $50. Bordeaux has values if you know where to go, where to look for. Number 71, Andre Perret, the Condrieu Chéri. Condrieu is a really unique wine in the Northern Rhone. Jeb loves those wines, made out of Viognier, lower acid grape. Condrieu's, there's debate whether they should be drank always young or if they can actually age. They're very unique wines. These are rich. They're a little bit floral, like I said, low in acid. Really unique drinking experience. Not everybody's gonna like them, but I think it's worth checking out. Number 68, the Nacido Estate Pinot Noir, $60. Nacido, I've been to the vineyard before, one of the more iconic vineyards in California, in the Santa Maria Valley. It's basically just open to the cool Pacific breezes. That's why it's so great for Syrah, Pinot Noir, Chardonnay. Excellent producer, excellent wine. Number 64, Michel Chapoutier Saint-Joseph Le Granits. Places like Coronas, Hermitage, Côte Rôtie. These are wines made up of Syrah. They can get quite expensive. Saint-Joseph is a little more approachable, a little bit more affordable, although they're getting a little more expensive, $90. I think is excellent. I like a lot of Chapoutier's bottlings that maybe aren't, I mean, of course, this Hermitage, Côte Rôtie, that kind of stuff is brilliant, but some of his Saint Joseph stuff is excellent. Number 63, I am glad he put this, Domaine de Ferrand Chateauneuf de Pape, $54. Under the radar wine. I've featured them in some articles I've written, also some videos in the past when the video quality wasn't as good. This wine is exceptional. It has the bouquet. This little producer, small producer, has the bouquet of a burgundy, of a red burgundy. It really does. It's leathery. It's tough. It is an outstanding wine at $54. I think that you should reach out and get it. Number 62, the Domaine Brut Gigondas Les Hauts de Montmirail, $40. Gigondas, you know, kind of held in the same esteem as Chateauneuf de Pape. I was just there a year ago. Gigondas, though, is a little bit more altitude, so the wines have a little more crunchy acidity to me. If you're a Chateauneuf de Pape, you know, lover, I say go in. Wow, there's a lot of good wines here. Number 61, the Beckmen Vineyards, Syrah Parisma Mountain Vineyard. This is a biodynamic producer in Santa Barbara County. Their Syrahs are outstanding, and their GSMs. They also make a brilliant wine called Cuvee le Bec, I think that's the name of it. It's just a GSM. That wine is like $15. I've seen it before. It is outstanding for those like rich wines. I mean, even though Syrah Parisma Mountain is only $36, so maybe worth checking out. Number 58, the Staglin Family Vineyards Cabernet Sauvignon. This wine is expensive, but I have to say I've had it before, and it's good. They're kind of famous because they're seen as like the enemy in the documentary Mondovino, because I think it's a rich Silicon Valley guy that went there, established wine, you know, drew out a business plan to say, hey, what do I need to do to make, you know, a cult wine that sells for a lot of money, but the wines are good, you know, the wines are good. Number 52, the Mount Eden Vineyards Cabernet Sauvignon. I think this is from Santa Cruz, where Montebello is made, the iconic Ridge Montebello. $110. I have to admit, I think it's very good. They make their Cabernet Sauvignon. They also make their Chardonnay. They make a second label. I can't remember the name of the wine. Basically, it has Eden in it too. I'll put it up on the screen once I find it out. Those wines are usually about half the price. I think they're worth checking out. Number 48, the Delas Cellars Chaleur Estate. I haven't tasted this wine, but Delas sent me a Syrah for a video I did last year about Syrah Shiraz, a great wine for steak, and it was really impressive. So I assume that this is good too, because the producer was cool, and it had a nice label too. Number 42, I was just here actually during on premiere 2019 Chateau Latour Martillac. 2019, 45 bucks. I had this exact wine. I was super impressed with it. I think it's very good. If I'm right, it's from Pisac-Léognan. I'm sorry, I'm kind of not clear right now. Yeah, it is Pisac-Léognan. One of my favorite areas in Bordeaux, actually, I think because they make whites and reds. The wines, to me, it's like, they're not super, super powerful, but you can still tell that they're Cabernet Sauvignon. That's why I like them quite a bit. That wine, 45 bucks. Good job, Jeb. Some affordable wines in here. Number 35, the Bergstrom Pinot Noir Winery Block. This is a pretty expensive producer from Oregon. Actually, it was so funny. That was the first Oregon Pinot Noir that I actually ever had. Their wines are a little bit pricey for what they are, to be honest. To me, I think they're very good, but they're, they're a little bit on the upper part of the scale, so I'll take that for what it is. Number 32, the Tensley Syrah Turner Vineyard, $46, Santa Barbara County. I absolutely love this producer. Their base Syrah is called Tensley Santa Barbara County Syrah. A couple years ago, I got that wine for 22 bucks. I brought that to a tasting of European wine writers with some pretty expensive wines, and that wine stood out. Big, rich Syrah. Still not Shiraz. Has Syrah-like flavors. A little savage, a little wild tangerine peel, blackberries, also a little bit of raspberry, some red fruit type flavors. It's an excellent wine. Well worth the money. I would highly recommend that one. The Santa Barbara County basic Syrah from them, excellent. Number 28, the Clos Saint Jean Chateauneuf de Pape Du Ex Machina, 110 bucks. Clos Saint Jean, I've had a lot of their older wines. So funny, I was at a Chateauneuf de Pape producer party. This was 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, and basically producers only brought out old wines, magnums of old wines. I had this wine aged. Their style is a little bit richer, a little bit bigger. Generally not the style of Chateauneuf de Pape I like. I like Chateauneuf de Papes that are pure Grenache, more delicate, but this is a good wine. I mean, a lot of people really, really love it. Number 26, Chateau Pichot Longueville Comtesse de Lalande, right across the street from Pichon-Baron. They're properties that split up in Pauillac. 250 bucks is expensive wine, but it's good. You know what? Number 25, non-vintage Krug Champagne, the 170th edition. Krug is Krug. It's excellent champagne, not cheap, worth checking out. Number 24, the Sine Qua Non Grenache Distenta 1. I've had a lot of the iconic producers in Santa Barbara County because I love them. I have not had Sine Qua Non. Number 23, 2009 Ad Vivum Cabernet Sauvignon Sleeping Lady Vineyard. Showed up in my Girls Rating Guys video that I released last week. Amanda Some Vivant. This is one of her favorite producers. He's a 4. But he's on the mailing list of Ad Vivum.
Oh man, 10 out of 10. Chris Phelps, great winemaker, former Dominus, just beautiful wine and great people.
I haven't tasted it yet. Number 21, the 2019 Saxum James Berry Vineyard. Saxum is the name to know in Paso Robles. Doing excellent Rhone-style grapes. The wines are generally a little bit more expensive, but the wines are really good. 2020, the Delas Freres Hermitage Domaine de Tourettes Blanc. Wow. Delas, I think, is owned, it's an estate in the Northern Rhone. It's owned, I think, by Roederer, the champagne house, if I remember right. A couple years ago, I had, I think, their 2016 Hermitage Red. I thought it was outstanding and approachable right away. Their Côte de Rhone showed up on a video, a Costco wine video last year about this time. Excellent value for money because Northern Rhone wines, not so easy to find. The quantities are so small, but Delas, you can actually get some of those wines. Number 17, the Dragonet Cellars Pinot Noir Sanford and Benedict Vineyard. For you geeks out there, the film Sideways, where he's tasting the rosé, describing a wine, Miles is, and he goes over to Jack and says, "Are you chewing gum?"
Maybe some strawberry. Passion fruit. Just a flutter of like a nutty Edam cheese. Are you chewing gum?
They're at the Sanford and Benedict winery, and that was one of their employees in the film. I've actually been to that winery before, that estate. It's owned by an insurance company, I think now. I think the wines are maybe a little bit less exciting, but they are one of the pioneers of Pinot Noir in Santa Barbara County. Dragonet Cellars, visit them before. This is an excellent wine. They also do a surprisingly good Sauvignon Blanc for not so much money. Their basic Pinot Noir is worth checking out too. Number 8, the 2019 Domaine Drouhin Pinot Noir Lorraine. This is an Oregon producer. Domaine Drouhin, obviously the big negociant. Or actually, do they even own their own proper vineyards in Burgundy too? I can't remember off the top of my head. But their Domaine Drouhin estate in Oregon is also very good. The Pinot Noir, their basic Pinot Noir, I think is $40, and it's worth checking out. 2019 Chateau Léovert Barton, $110. It's expensive, but it's a really good wine. Okay, number 2, 2019 Chateau Lynch Bage. This is like a classic. A lot of people like this. I can't remember. I think they're a third growth in Bordeaux. Went out a lot in price. I think in the secondary market, you can sometimes find those wines for $100. Worth checking out. Number 1, 2014 Bollinger Champagne La Grande Année Brut. I just had this wine, was at the estate last year. Bollinger. Just buy their base cuvee because you get the house style. I think that wine's $50, $50 or $60. A little more expensive for a non-vintage champagne, but it's worth it. The Grande Année is excellent. You have a couple of their top cuvées. You have the Grande Année, the RD, which is recently disgorged, and then the Vignes Francese. I think in certain, like RD is more expensive, more premium. I think the Grande Année sometimes to me is better. Beautiful wine, worth checking out. But again, just buy the base cuvee. I'd love to hear, what do you think of Jeb Dunnuck? Do you think he scores a bit on the high side? Do you like his palate? Drop it in the comments below. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you soon.